The interior no one was supposed to survive. The first step onto the alien-human hybrid vessel felt like stepping into a myth. The boarding ramp, if one could call the serrated, retracting maw a ramp, closed behind the expedition team like the jaws of something alive. Captain Aerith Valos of the Concordant Exploration Corps steadied his breathing. The ship's hull had been Class III rated from orbit. Only Deathworld cultures were ever assigned that danger tier. And yet here they were, walking inside it. The interior swallowed light. Not due to darkness, but because the walls themselves drank it. Char-black plating rippled faintly, as if muscles lay just beneath. "Readings," Aerith whispered. His lieutenant, Serial, scanned with trembling mandibles. "Environmental stable. But sir, gravity is fluctuating between 0.9 and 1.3 g. It's trying to match us." "Adaptive gravity generators," Aerith muttered. "A technology only theorized." A deep hum rolled through the corridor like a pulse. Then lights ignited, soft, blue, human standard illumination. The entire team froze. "Someone turned the lights on," one of the analysts whispered. "Correction," Serial said. "Something turned them on." A door ahead of them slid open without a sound. Aerith motioned his squad forward. "Weapons ready. Sensors scanning." The corridor widened into what could only be the ship's atrium, an impossibly large chamber, cathedral-sized, with towering biomechanical pillars stretching into a vaulted ceiling. In the center floated a holographic construct, a rotating emblem, a stylized earth, English characters beneath. "Deadless 9 Project. Authorized personnel only." Serial's legs nearly buckled. "Sir, the age estimate. This projection system is over 6,000 years old." Aerith's throat tightened. "That's impossible. Humanity hadn't even achieved primary interstellar travel then." Before anyone could answer, something stepped into view at the far end of the atrium. A silhouette. Humanoid. Tall. Armored. Breathing, steady and calm. The figure raised its hands slowly, palms outward. "Don't be alarmed," it said, voice deep and perfectly steady. "Welcome aboard the Deadless 9. You are trespassing on a human vessel." The crew aimed their weapons. The figure didn't flinch. "Identify yourself," Aerith barked. The figure paused. Blue visor gleaming. Armor hissing softly with ancient systems rebooting. "I am Lieutenant Commander Elias Ward," he said. "Terran Expeditionary Force." He stepped closer, and the atrium's lights sharpened. "I believe," Elias continued calmly, "I may be the last surviving crew member." He looked at the alien explorers with an unreadable expression. "And if you found this ship, the galaxy is in far more danger than you realize." No one in the Concordant Exploration Corps training manuals had ever prepared Captain Aerith Valos for a living human from a 6,000-year-old ship calmly introducing himself like he'd merely overslept a shift. Elias Ward stood perfectly still, armored plating shimmering faintly with self-repairing nanofibers, as if the suit resented the centuries it had endured. His breathing was even, measured, like a predator choosing not to strike. Aerith signaled his team to lower weapons. "Only slightly." "Lieutenant Commander Ward," he said carefully, "you claim to be human. But humans are alive." Elias finished. "Active? Expanding?" "Yes, I suspected as much from the chatter I intercepted on local bands." His visor tilted. "But I also detect unfamiliar accents, non-Terran dialect structures, and energy signatures your tech shouldn't possess." Serial swallowed. "You intercepted us?" "This ship's systems are still operational." "Not all of them," Elias admitted. "I had to bring auxiliary power online manually after I was awakened." Aerith caught that. "Awakened? How long were you offline?" Elias considered this for a moment, the armor's servos whining softly as he shifted. "Judging by stellar drift?" A pause. "Approximately 5,983 years." A gasp rippled through the team. Some stepped back. Serial whispered, "Impossible, Even for cryostasis. Cryostasis? Elias almost laughed. No. We were not frozen. We were shielded. The Daedalus-class vessels used hyperdimensional stasis cocoons, designed to withstand Deathworld environments, black hole proximity, and enemy biointerference. Aretha's skin prickled. Only Class-III species engineered things to survive environments that hated life. And the rest of your crew? He asked quietly. Elias's visor dimmed, grief flickering across the armored surface like a shadow. Gone, he said. The Deadless 9 was ambushed. A hostile civilization, unknown designation. They attacked without communication. They boarded. We fought. His jaw tightened. And we lost. The room felt suddenly smaller. Aerith stepped closer. If this ship was defeated, how are you still alive? Elias turned toward the far wall. It shimmered, and an image emerged. Twisted metal, scorched armor, the remnants of something feral and insectoid crushed against the bulkheads. I wasn't alive, Elias said. Not until 2 hours ago. A cold silence. 2 hours? Cyril echoed. My stasis pod had a failsafe, Elias explained. If an unknown species boarded the ship, or if someone accessed the bridge core, it would trigger my revival. He faced them again. Your arrival did both. So we woke you, Aerith said softly. And now? Elias folded his arms. Now, he said, you tell me one thing. The visor glowed brighter, piercing, sharp. Has Earth survived? Aerith hesitated. Because the truth was complicated. And Elias sensed it instantly. He stepped forward, voice dropping into a tone that carried the weight of a soldier who had once defended a world no one else could replace. Captain, he said, don't lie to me. Not about Earth. Not about humanity. Aerith exhaled slowly. Earth survived, he said. More than that, humanity controls almost a third of the galaxy. Elias didn't move. Didn't breathe. Didn't react. Then, he laughed. A short, disbelieving exhale. Of course they did. But the smile faded as quickly as it came. Then there's something you need to know, Elias continued, tone sharpening. The species that destroyed the Deadless 9, the ones who killed my crew. He pointed to the massive holomap above them. The ship responded, projecting a new star cluster, one surrounded by crimson warnings. They weren't invaders. Aerith stiffened. What do you mean? They were scouts, Elias said. He stepped into the hologram, his hand passing through the crimson stars. And their main fleet will be coming. The ship's lights dimmed. The deck rumbled. Warning glyphs appeared across the atrium walls. Cyril paled. Sir, energy surge detected. Systems waking across the entire vessel. Elias looked up calmly. She's waking up, he murmured. The Deadless knows the threat is near. Aerith felt his pulse race. What threat? He demanded. Elias turned toward him, and the visor finally retracted, revealing human eyes hardened by centuries of war. The kind, he said, that makes a Class-III Deathworld ship look like a child's toy. The ship appeared on long-range scanners as a gravity ripple, too dense, too massive, too silent to be anything natural. The exploration vessel Saren's light drifted closer, its crew tense as the readings updated in real time. The silhouette slowly emerged from the dark, a monstrous construct the size of a small moon, forged from metals no scan could identify. Its hull reflected no light, absorbing every photon like a void wrapped in armor. Captain Lyra Thalen leaned forward, eyes fixed on the holographic display. Run the classification again. Her science officer swallowed. We already did. Twice. Captain, the hull registers as Class-III Deathworld material. The bridge fell silent. A Class-III Deathworld was not a place civilized species visited. It was where nature itself tried to kill you every second, where evolution demanded brutality, intelligence, and unyielding resilience. Nothing fragile survived there. Nothing civilized developed there. Yet this vessel was built from those materials. Lyra exhaled slowly. A ship built for a planet that tries to murder its own inhabitant. What kind of species does that? The vessel drifted motionless, no power signatures, no external lights, just a silent titan sleeping in the dark. Its hull bore unfamiliar insignias, sharp lines, angular patterns, and symbols that radiated authority. Warship markings, Lyra realized, but older than anything they had encountered. Life signs, she asked. The sensors pulsed again. Faint. Hundreds, maybe thousands. Stable but unreadable. Cryosleep, Lyra guessed. Whoever built this monster had either fled something catastrophic, or prepared for a war they intended to survive at all costs. The explorers suited up. A docking tunnel extended from Saren's light to the alien vessel's airlock, a metallic mouth large enough to swallow a cruiser. As they stepped inside, their lights hit walls nearly a meter thick. Every surface was engineered to withstand impossible pressure and heat, the kind only a Deathworld could produce. This ship shouldn't exist, one crew member whispered. Lyra agreed. The corridors felt like walking through the spine of a beast, massive, reinforced, built for endurance beyond reason. As they moved deeper, a chill settled in the air. Not cold. Purposeful. Engineered. As if the ship was holding its breath. They reached the central chamber, a vast hall stretching hundreds of meters. And there, rows upon rows of cryo-pods glowed with a faint blue light. Humanoid figures slept inside, tall, muscular, imposing. Not frail. Not alien. Something else entirely. One of the explorers gasped. They look like us. Lyra stared. The faces were unmistakably human, features strong, symmetrical, eyes closed but peaceful. These were not primitive creatures. These were soldiers, warriors, survivors of something unimaginable. A console flickered as she approached. Symbols translated rapidly, the ship's systems adapting to her presence. A single line of text appeared. Crew status, human. Mission protocol, hold until safe. Time elapsed, 4,212 years. Lyra's heart stopped. Humanity, according to galactic archives, was a myth, an ancient ghost species rumored to have vanished before modern civilizations formed. But the truth stood before them. Not vanished. Not extinct. Sleeping. Waiting. A warning klaxon suddenly echoed across the chamber. The cryosystems surged with power. Pods unlocked, one by one. Hydraulics hissed. Lights flickered red. "Captain," her officer shouted. "We triggered a revival sequence." The first pod opened. A human stepped out, tall, scarred, eyes sharp with awareness despite millennia of sleep. His gaze swept the chamber, landing on the explorers. Not with confusion. With recognition. As if he had expected this day. He straightened, voice steady, resonant, and commanding. "Status report. What year is it?" The crew froze. Lyra managed to speak. "You're aboard a Class-III Deathworld vessel. We're explorers. And you're human." The man nodded slowly. "Good. Then humanity endures." More pods opened behind him. The galaxy, Lyra realized with a cold shiver, had just awakened something it was not prepared to face. Something built for survival. Something built for war. Something built on a Deathworld. And it was human. The entire ship vibrated with a deep, resonant thrum, like the heartbeat of a titanic beast rising from hibernation. Bulkhead lights strobed red. Data streams cascaded across the atrium's walls, written in a hybrid of ancient Terran code and something far more alien. Aerith steadied himself against a railing as gravity fluctuated again, then solidified. "What's happening?" he demanded. Elias stepped toward the rising flood of holographic warnings, his armor syncing with the ship systems in real time. "The Deadless 9 is detecting long-range psionic signatures. The same ones that attacked us millennia ago." Cyriel's mandibles quivered. "Psionic? But no known empire uses." "They're not a known empire," Elias cut in. "They were an anomaly even in my time." He zoomed the hologram outward until a vast, spiraling region of the galaxy appeared, marked by flickering red lines. It looked like a wound in space. Designation then, the Null Swarm. Aerith frowned. Never heard of them. You shouldn't have, Elias replied. They don't expand in the traditional sense. They don't negotiate. They don't conquer. He turned, visor projecting a grainy recording, the last log of the deadless crew. Bodies, human and alien, littered the corridors. Ripples of darkness crawled along the floor, like shadows given hunger. Something moved just outside the frame. Too many limbs, too many eyes, too fluid to classify. They consume potential, Elias said grimly. Technological, biological, even conceptual. If something can grow, evolve, advance, they devour it. Serial whispered, that's why they target Deathworld-Class cultures first, the most dangerous futures. Exactly. Elias pointed at the projection. And the Deadless 9 was built to stop them. One of 12 ships designed to be the vanguard of humanity's most ambitious defense project. Aeritha's pulse quickened. 12? The galaxy has never encountered ships like this before. Elias nodded slowly. Because only one ever left spacedock. The rest were destroyed before launch. Aerith froze. Destroyed before launch meant. The swarm infiltrated Sol? Serial choked. Elias's jaw clenched. They tried. And humanity beat them back, but the price was catastrophic. We still launched the Deadless 9, but we were alone. We were supposed to scout the swarm's border, identify weaknesses. Instead, Aerith murmured, they found you. The projection shifted to a cluster of red dots pulsing with increasing intensity. They're moving, Elias said quietly. The Null Swarm has found your beacon. They know someone accessed this ship. Aeritha's stomach dropped. They're coming here? Not immediately, Elias said. But their scouts will reach this region in months. And when they arrive, the hologram zoomed outward, showing the region of space under concordant jurisdiction, 27 inhabited sectors. Then the red wave swept across them. Total annihilation. Not a battle. Not a war. A consumption. Serial collapsed to his knees. All our worlds gone. Aerith struggled to breathe. He wasn't a soldier, he was an explorer. He catalogued moons and flora, not extinction-level threat. But Elias Ward was staring at the projection with the calm certainty of someone who had walked through hell, survived, and expected to go right back in. Lieutenant Commander, Aerith said quietly, if this threat is real, what do we do? Elias's visor slid back into place. The armor glowed brighter, reactivating systems that had slept for 6,000 years. What we were meant to do, Elias said. We get this ship running. Aeritha's eyes widened. This thing can still fly? Elias turned to him, and for the first time, his voice carried a spark of the fierce, relentless human defiance recorded throughout galactic history. Captain, the Deadless 9 was built by a Deathworld species that refused extinction even when the universe demanded it. He stepped toward the central control pillar. And if we can wake her fully, the swarm won't know what hit them. But before Aerith could speak, a tremor shook the chamber. The atrium lights blazed white. A single, bone-chilling alert echoed through the entire vessel. External contact detected. Unauthorized entity approaching. Aeritha's mouth went dry. Serial squeaked, Sir, something is boarding us. Elias drew a weapon that crackled with ancient power. Then, he said, stepping forward as the first shadow slithered through the hull, we start by surviving the welcoming party. The intruder shadows moved faster than thought, their forms shifting with a fluidity that defied physics. They were the Null Swarm scouts, the same species that had annihilated the rest of the Daedalus-class fleet. But this time, they had awakened something they were never meant to encounter. Elias Ward's hand rested on the command console. With a few swift commands, the Deadless 9 hummed to life. Lights blazed across the atrium, kinetic stabilizers engaged, and weapon systems aligned. Centuries of dormancy melted away under human precision. The vessel was no longer dormant. It was awake, alive, and hungry for calculated retribution. "Captain Aerith," Elias said, "your explorers are under my protection. Stay close or you won't survive this." Aerith nodded, gripping his sidearm tightly. Beside him, Serial and the rest of the crew felt the palpable presence of human engineering designed for absolute survival. The first engagement was swift. Null Swarm scouts attempted to breach the ship's core, but automated turrets and rapid response defense drones eliminated them before they could fully materialize. One by one, the shadows dissipated, shredded by precision strikes and containment fields designed for threats no less lethal than these. Elias moved down the atrium, gesturing at control panels. "We have centuries of data. Every weapon, every countermeasure, every defensive protocol, fully operational. The galaxy believed humans were gone. We never left." Aerith glanced at the massive holomap. Entire sectors lit up with potential threat. Yet the humans acted calmly, as if centuries of preparation made this chaos manageable. A distant tremor shook the deck. The Null Swarm's main fleet was arriving. Red blips across the holomap pulsed ominously. "They think they can challenge us," Elias muttered. "Let them see why humans are not easily defeated." The Deadless 9 shifted. Gravity fields stabilized, weapon batteries aligned, and the vessel surged forward with impossible speed. Null Swarm vessels, colossal even by the galaxy's standards, were annihilated with surgical precision. Entire squadrons disintegrated under targeted railgun barrages and kinetic strikes that vaporized them mid-flight. The exploration crew watched in awe. Humanity had returned, not to negotiate, not to plead, but to survive and enforce their will. Every shot was calculated, every movement deliberate. The Null Swarm's scouts that had once overwhelmed ancient fleets were falling like prey under a predator who had learned patience across millennia. When the last of the intruders was neutralized, silence fell across the ship. Not celebration, not relief, a calm acknowledgement of capability. Elias turned to Aerith and the explorers. "We do not seek war," he said. "We seek survival. We seek to ensure humanity endures. But the galaxy must understand one truth. Humanity builds to last. Humanity fights to survive. And humanity never surrenders." A galaxy that had long assumed humanity extinct now had proof. The Deadless 9 was more than a vessel, it was a testament to the human spirit, intelligent, adaptive, relentless, and utterly unyielding. As the ship's systems hummed, plotting a course toward known human territories, Aerith finally understood. The explorers had not just discovered a vessel, they had awakened a civilization. And the galaxy would never be the same. Elias Ward's voice resonated through the chamber one final time. "Humans endure. Humans prevail. And the universe will remember." The Deadless 9 surged forward, a ghost of a lost past now alive, heralding humanity's return to the stars.